Sox baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. Star Wars night at the ballpark. Sox trying to win the series against the Detroit Tigers after a victory yesterday in the late innings once again. May the force be with you tonight. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. And the Sox were walk-off winners last night for the 8th time this year, 7th since June 27th.
And we'll take a look at some exciting moments at the ballpark as the Sox have walked off 2 of the last 3 games. And we'll take a look at Wednesday and Tim Anderson taking it through the left side. And then running against Rosario, which is usually not a good thing. This time it turned into gold. And last night, Yomer comes up in a situation where he might have bunted but didn't, takes it down the line, and it wins the ball game. As Tim Anderson scoring easily, Yomer gets a shower, and exciting times certainly all around, but this particular homestand has been very exciting.
And the Sox turn to Carlos Rodon on the mound today, and boy, has he been exceptional the last 5 starts.
Got a couple of very good young pitchers. One's a young left-hander, that's our guy, and the other, their guy, is a young right-hander. Carlos Rodon the last 5 times out has been brilliant. Last time against the Twins, 6 1/3, 9 strikeouts, just 2 earned runs. And despite the fact that it's been 5 gems in a row, he's just 1-0 over that period. But his wipeout slider's been unhittable. The rest of his stuff has been very good. We saw Buck Farmer back on the 27th of May. He was brilliant. That by far his best start of the year. He had 11 strikeouts. He gave up only 3 hits. And in that one, he won the ball game going into the 7th inning. And so he's fallen on some hard times. It'll be interesting tonight to see what he comes out with, and let's see if the boys can keep it rolling.
Sox trying to win their 4th in a row. This one against the Detroit Tigers. First pitch to Abreu, and the boys will come up in a little while. Carlos on the mound shortly.
Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. The national clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
Cloudy evening, but a nice night for baseball as the Sox take on the Detroit Tigers. This is the flying Elvine from yesterday. That looks like a great deal of fun if you can stay alert for it. On the way into the stadium, the old GoPro attached, and there is the soft landing on Rogers grass. Awesome. Just awesome. No flyover today. Sox trying to win the series and take game number 4 in a row during this homestand. 2 against the Twins, the walk-off yesterday. And here's the starting lineup for Brad Ausmus's Detroit Tigers. Still no suspensions in effect right now. Kinsler, Machado, and Upton. Cabrera, Matuk, and Martinez. McCann, Romine, and Iglesias for a Tiger team that pounded out 7 hits yesterday.
Let's take a look at the defense and how they're going to line up behind Carlos Rodon. It's Hanson, Engel, and Garcia in the outfield left to right, with Tyler, Tim, Yolmer, and Jose in the infield from third to first. Omar Narvaez gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Carlos Rodon, who's been red hot lately. On for the 11th time. He's 2-4, his ERA a fine 3.88, and it's been sinking with each and every start. The umpires for the game tonight. Nick Marley has the plate. Lance Barrett at first base, the crew chief. Jim Reynolds is at second, and Brian Knight is at third. So it's a cool night. And no rain in the area, which is good, as Rick Renteria talking with Don Cooper, as his ball club has been leaving it all out on the field. Whether they win or lose, they've been playing very, very energetic baseball. Brad Ausmus on the other side of the equation, waiting for suspensions to come down, and he's going to lose a good portion of his usable players when that happens. So far, they're going to appeal it, and remains to be seen how this works out. So they've thrown the ball around the infield, which means we're ready to play baseball, and that means I am ready to turn it over to my irreplaceable, something along those lines, partner, Jason Benetti.
You called me irreplaceable. That's so nice.
It was supposed to be irrepressible. But I figured irreplaceable is not so bad either.
Great. I'm the silver medalist that's irreplaceable. There's a strike. 6-10 first pitch. Ian Kinsler takes it from Carlos Rodon's left hand, and we are wheels up from Guaranteed Rate Field this evening in Chicago. Ball a strike to Kinsler at 35 years old, and a guy who really has been a major factor for the Tigers in previous years, but the numbers are down this season for Kinsler.
They were talking about moving him in the offseason, certainly entertained some offers. They weren't even close to what they felt they needed for him. They talked to a couple different teams, but they didn't meet the expectations of the Tigers, who said that we're just not going to give these guys away.
That one hits Kinsler, so he's on with nobody out here in the first inning.
Very few guys, if any, can hit that put-away slider. However, the put-away slider occasionally hits the batter, and this time it got a piece of the right foot of Kinsler, and he's aboard.
Well, they call him Bootsy. He's got Bootsy on the back of his Players Weekend jersey, but that's not because he gets hit in the foot.
No. And he can still run despite being a little bit older. He's got 12 stolen bases, been caught 4 times. He is their premier base stealer.
Dixon Machado lays down a bunt. Carlos Rodon to the covering second baseman. Sanchez scooting in behind the play with Abreu vacating. Kinsler to second, 1 down.
Good coordination in the infield because Yolmer got there in time, and now Jose is talking with him about the timing. You see him sprint to the bag, and that's what a hitter tries to do. He wants to push it by the pitcher. In this case, he couldn't get it by Carlos, who barehands it and still makes the play. The play is designed for the right-hander to push it by a left-hand pitcher who usually falls off to third base and then beat the play to first. Didn't happen that time, but they did get Kinsler into scoring position.
You know, Max Kepler is the one with the dancer parents, but Sanchez, Yolmer just had a very nice little ballet move to get the foot out of the way, so he didn't collide.
He did a good job to get to the bag in the first place, and that's why Jose and Yolmer were speaking after the play about the coordination of that play and where to go immediately if Jose is pulled off the bag.
1 strike to Upton, and now Justin Upton down the line and foul. One of the extra base hit leaders in Major League Baseball, Justin Upton, with 36 doubles and 27 home runs. 1 extra base hit behind Jose Abreu for the American League lead.
He came in red hot but was cooled off last night. Last night he just wasn't seeing the ball at all.
3 strikeouts last night for Upton, and nearly a 4th in the series there. Tigers at 55 and 72. In fact, only 4 games clear of the Sox for 4th place in the Central. One and 2 for Upton. Ground ball left side. Kinsler departs and gets to third, and 2 down in the inning.
Tim did a nice job of coming to get that one. Upton doesn't have great speed. He's got good speed, but not great. And the reason why Kinsler went to third base was he took a look at Tyler Saladino and noticed he was not by the bag, and so there was no way for Anderson to go to Saladino and get him out, despite the fact that that ball was hit in front of Kinsler.
The pace of the ball had something to do with it too. As Miguel Cabrera fouls it away. 1 strike on the Tiger 34-year-old first baseman Miguel Cabrera, the 7-time All-Star and 2-time MVP.
He was beaten a lot last night on inside fastballs, which is most unusual for him because normally he gets a good part of the bat out and hits them well. He just didn't do it last night. And that's really been the case all year long for him, and there are many who believe that the back injury he sustained in the World Baseball Classic has really bothered him a lot more this year than he would admit to, because he plays a lot. He's a tough guy, but he's having just a horrible year for him. I mean, it's a decent enough year, but a horrible for Cabrera.
He's still hitting line drives. That's the good news. He's number 2 in Major League Baseball, percentage points behind Daniel Murphy of Washington, but the numbers still are down, especially the home run numbers.
His line drives normally go out of the ballpark when he's feeling good. He's not feeling all that well this year.
Swing and a miss. 2-2 on Cabrera from the 3rd-year White Sox player Carlos Rodon.
Now Omar, if he calls a put-away slider, he better be ready to block anything down, or Kinsler's going to score the first run. He's going to a fastball, and let's see where he tries to throw it.
That was out over the plate, and Cabrera fouled it away.
Again, that shows you that he's just not feeling the way he normally would, because that was a mistake by Carlos, who tried to get it in on his hands. That one was right down the middle, and Cabrera was just beaten again on a fastball that he normally tattoos.
Now where do you go seeing that?
I tried to put away slider again. If Omar can block it, now he's going with the fastball.
Set up inside again. This one was elevated and fouled away. You think either of those was in the spot Rodon wanted them?
No, he missed with both pitches, and that happens in the first inning, especially where you don't have a good feel and a good rhythm. You see, Omar wants it up and in. This ball is up, but it's out over the plate, and that's why the at-bat's still alive.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Breaking ball in the dirt, and no advancement from Kinsler.
Kinsler was coming down the line aggressively, and Narvaez did a very nice job of not only blocking it, but making sure that it doesn't shoot away by 10-15 feet.
Carlos wearing the jersey that says Los. His first 3 letters in his name are actually his monogram. His middle name starts with an A, so the car is gone, but it's still there on anything that he wanted to have monogram. 3-2. Cabrera again fouls it away.
An extended at bat for Miguel Cabrera. The 9th pitch forthcoming.
Sox are right now 29th in baseball in pitches per inning pitched. So it's taking as many pitches as anybody in baseball to get out of an inning. And it's going to take more this time for Carlos. He walks Cabrera, and runners at the corners with 2 down. Yeah, the average for the Sox is 17.5 pitches per inning pitched, which is 29th in baseball.
I was going to say that's a pretty high total. Here's a guy having a really good year, and it's somewhat surprising because we didn't see this consistent play with Tampa Bay, but Mikey Matuk now is doing quite a job with the Tigers.
His former college buddy Jacoby Jones was sent down to add Buck Farmer. The roster's expanding on September 1st. You'd imagine Jones would be back up, but Detroit playing today with a 3-man bench, including the dinged up Nicholas Castellanos. Sox made a roster move today. Rob Brantley called up from AAA Charlotte. Nicky Delmonico on the 10-day disabled list with that sprained wrist.
Matuk last year hit 195 with Tampa Bay in 65 games. So this a radical departure from last year.
That could have been a strike, and he didn't get it. There is Rob Brantley, a 2nd-time White Sox player, 3rd catcher on the roster now. Too late for Players Weekend to get whatever he wanted on his jersey, so he's just Brantley.
Yeah, I don't think he expected to be here, but with the injury a day that the Sox are on, which is seemingly what's happened as guys keep going on the disabled list, there's a lot of call-ups a little sooner than the guys might have thought.
Delmonico evidently injured the wrist a couple of nights ago in his 3rd trip to the plate. Nothing extravagantly serious, but needing some days off. That ball's tagged to center field. Engel is there. It's a line drive out for Matuk on 3 balls and a strike. And 2 runners stranded for the Tigers against Rodon. As here comes young Buck Farmer to face the Sox. The Webb Auto Group for the best lineup of Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price. Go to webcars.com. El Chamaquito at the top. That's Alan Hansen, and Sally playing third. Jose Abreu, bad weather at first. Avi, Matt Davidson, Tim Anderson, honoring his fallen friend from a couple of months ago, Brandon Moss. El de Pinonal is Yolmer Sanchez from the Pinonal region of Venezuela. Omar Narvaez and Adam Engel in honor of his daughter Clark.
And the defense, and how they'll line up behind Buck Farmer. It's Upton, Matuk, and Romine in the outfield with Machado, Iglesias, Kinsler, and Cabrera in the infield. James McCann gets a nod behind the plate. And our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Buck Farmer. This is 5th game. The ERA is up there. He is 2-1, however, including 1 gem against our Sox.
6 1/3, 3 hits back on May the 27th for Buck Farmer. Tim Anderson had a single, Yolmer Sanchez had a single, and Matt Davidson had a single, and that's it. 2 walks, 1 to Davidson and 1 to Melky Cabrera, who's now applying his trade elsewhere in the Midwest.
Farmer pretty much fastball slider. He's got the occasional changeup, but the fastball slider are his pitches.
0-2. Called strike 3 near the inside corner, 1 away. Time now for picks to click, where Steve lobbies for the rules to change so he can win. You're 2 back right now, and you did take somebody out of the top 2 spots in the lineup. I'm going with Yolmer, last night's hero, Tim Anderson to the crew, and the fans go with Saladino, who's coming up next. WhiteSox.com/pick to click. You can vote and be a part of that fan selection.
I had Tyler last night. He hit the ball hard, but didn't have a lot to show for it. However, a big double late, and that set the stage.
Are you suggesting that maybe we go by exit velocity now from now on?
I would say just barrels. Let's go to barrels.
You turned into Donkey Kong?
And we can roll one out every now and then.
In the air, short center field, Mikey Matuk oncoming, and he's there for out number 2.
It was a break for Matuk. It stayed up a long time, and he didn't get a good break on it. In fact, I don't think he saw it very well before finally coming on to make the play rather easily. Seaman center, he starts back, doesn't break all that quickly, and then because it's up so long, he comes out and makes the play.
Have you been researching barrels?
Yes, absolutely. Especially the one used to season some of the better cognacs.
Here's Jose Abreu, who takes a strike. Steve Stone, professional Cooper. Barrel is a stat that shows who's hitting the ball at a certain launch angle, exit velocity, and there's a leaderboard that, in fact, our Sox Math winner last night, Casey Boguslaw, presides over. He's a big barrel guy.
He is?
Yeah.
Wow.
He did have to explain to his 2-year-old Beth why she can't win the purple unicorn that's on the prize shelf. So we're sorry. We're going to get you some nice things, Beth. Jose Abreu, who is a guy who, when he's getting one, he's likely going to get another. He's got 48 multi-hit games. He is 3rd in Major League Baseball to Charlie Blackmon of the Rockies and Jose Altuve in Houston.
I think the Rockies are pretty happy they didn't move Charlie Blackmon, who's having a banner year. That was talked about in the offseason, but did not come to fruition.
0-2.
I would say for the hitters tonight, if they're watching Nick Marley early, it's going to be a pitcher's plate. So I don't think I would take too many with 2 strikes, and Jose finds himself at 1-2.
That was a slider that caught the outside corner. Abreu fouls it away. Buck Farmer's had 2 great starts and 2 not so good starts so far this season.
He's going to be in the mix for starting pitcher next year. They're not quite sure exactly what to expect from him, but judging by the success he had in his 1 start against the Sox, Brad Ausmus looking for big things tonight.
Well, the bullpen struggled again last night for Ausmus. Alex Wilson threw 1 inning. He gave up a couple of base runners, but got a timely double play. Then Jimenez The young, hard-throwing pitcher gave up the game with back-to-back doubles.
Managers look awfully good if their bullpen get people out consistently. Where a manager doesn't look good is when the bullpen has an ERA above 5.5, and that's been the case with Detroit this year.
2-2. Abreu drills it deep to left field. Jose back to the warning track, and that's all. Upton makes the catch to retire this side. A 1-2-3 inning, couple of fly balls, and we're scoreless after one. Is presented by State Farm, and we'd like to say hello to all our viewers watching on WTC Communications in Wilton, Iowa on Star Wars night. Oh, Freeze, give me your funnel cake. Stormtroopers manning the gate,
and a lot of folks got the Stormtrooper bobbleheads. Very good looking giveaway tonight.
Theirs are intact. Ours in the booth has suffered a
Not
very
so much.
negative fate.
No, it's nice that you were able to finally decapitate one of these things.
First pitch is ball one to Victor Martinez, and yeah, it's a nice Stormtrooper. I was just showing people how to defeat the Stormtroopers.
Victor has some great career numbers against the Sox. He's hitting in the 320s lifetime, and last night no exception.
He went to every field last night. He went to right field in the second with a single, center in the fifth, and left in the seventh.
But a strikeout on a high fastball ended the ninth. And that was from Juan Minaya, who picked up another win last night. So in the closer role, Juan Minaya has 3 saves and a couple of wins. He's starting to throw it pretty well out of the pen. It couldn't come at a better time because there was a huge vacancy in the closer department to be filled by Juan, as it turned out.
To right field it goes. Javi Garcia lets it fly away, and Minaya looks like he's embraced it. I mean, there's really been no shaky demeanor on the mound.
If you're going to be out in the bullpen, you want a designation. You either want to be a lockdown setup man or you want to be a closer. And we talked about the success of Victor. There you look at it, 326 lifetime.
1-2. Tried to go up high to take care of him, and Carlos watched another foul ball.
Victor's always been a better hitter from the right side. He's always had more power from the left side. And he's a natural right-hand hitter. That's one pitch that's going to come to Carlos as he gets a little deeper in this game, but he doesn't have yet, and that's that good wipeout slider.
Two and two. Got jammed and popped it up. Short right field. Garcia coming in, and Avi's there for out number one. The 2017 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. Team up with your hometown lender for low mortgage rates and a fast, easy process. Get started now at rate.com.
There's a young man that's certainly enjoying his evening. The concession stands are very good to him. Plus, he has the hat pulled down low so he can concentrate
on the ice cream.
Absolutely.
That's the messiest way to eat the ice cream. His chaperone there was doing it the right way with the paper on the bottom, so you never get the chocolate on your hands, and you just keep pushing it up and pushing it up, and then
but that's the difference between an adult and the kids. It's no fun if you can't get it all over your hands and your face and your hat and everything else that you have on.
So that's
part
more
of
fun.
the joy. Oh, much more fun, yes.
When's the last time you ate an ice cream sandwich?
I think the fall of 58, 59, something like that.
How were they back then?
Much less expensive.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Especially with my folks paying for it.
How about that hat?
That's a good-looking hat. A fashion statement. Very nice.
Evidently, King Midas touched her hat. 1-2. McCann on the ground is shortstop and Anderson. That's out number 2 in the second inning.
It's just one pitch in a night where he's probably going to throw 105, 106 or 7, whatever the case may be. But that was a straight change, and he had McCann well out in front of it. If Carlos gets confidence in this pitch, it's going to help him immeasurably. It's in a perfect spot. It's maybe getting a little piece of the corner, but you see McCann, he went out with both his hands and his front foot. He got nothing into the swing. That was a good change by Carlos.
For his career, for the 3 seasons we've seen him in Chicago, Carlos has thrown the changeup about 1/10 of the time, 10%.
Yeah, he really doesn't have extreme confidence yet, but he will.
Into right center field, Adam Engel on the case, and he is there, slowing down to make the catch for out number 3. And a 1-2-3 inning for Carlos Rodon. We'll play bottom 2 in a scoreless draw.
The Knights are back on CSN as they take on the Durham Bulls. Check out some of the Sox top prospects Monday at 6 on CSN, or stream the game at csnchicago.com or on the NBC Sports app.
Time of the White Sox Farm Report, and we go down to Double-A Birmingham, where Zach Collins in 7 games has hit a couple of home runs. One of them yesterday against Jacksonville. He scored 5 runs and a very strong offensive start for Zach.
And one of the good things that the Sox have noticed about Zach Collins, they had a pretty good idea when they drafted him, was his command of the strike zone. He understands when it's off the plate or hittable, and he's going to take a whole lot of walks during the course of his career.
Line drive, first pitch. Avi Garcia up the gap in left center, and Upton mishandles it. Avi's on his way to second base.
I got to believe that'll be single E7, but we'll have to wait and see. It is indeed single E7. So Avi in scoring position. He's able to wait back. This looked like a changeup. He waits back on it and then takes it over the head of Iglesias at shortstop.
So the Sox have a runner at second for Matt Davidson, who makes his return from that wrist injury that lasted a little bit longer than he would have wanted. Matt just off his rehab assignment with AAA Charlotte. First game for Matt Davidson in his Sox jersey since August 1st. And a 1 hopper, 1 ball and 1 strike. By the way, elsewhere on the farm, Michael Kopech making start number 2 for the Charlotte Knights tonight. He's through 4 2/3, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks, and just 1 run allowed. Ball and a strike. And that's low.
At the time that Matt left the starting lineup, he was leading the club in home runs. Relinquished that to Jose.
2 balls, 2 strikes from Buck Farmer, whose true first name is George. Buck is a nickname, so that's why he has George on the back of his jersey.
And he's found out something that I'm sure both pitchers will enjoy, the fact that the wind is blowing in, and it knocked down the Abreu fly ball to left field that normally would have been a home run, but the wind very much a factor tonight.
2-2. He yanked it outside. 3-2 to Davidson, with Anderson next. He gets the strikeout, 1 away, and we check in for a Miller Lite game report with Sierra Santos.
Hey, Jason, you just mentioned Matt Davidson's very brief rehab stint with AAA Charlotte. And by brief, I mean he played just 1 game. That was last night. He DH'd. He went 0 for 3. We had the chance to talk to him earlier this afternoon. He said he physically feels really good. The plan is for him to DH today. He's going to play third base tomorrow. And then on Monday, they will reassess how he's doing on the day off. Jason, Steve, let's go back up to you.
Sierra, thank you. Nice to have somebody back in the lineup after a couple of injuries. Nicky Delmonico on the DL today and Yohan Moncada yesterday. We'll get a full update on Nicky from our CSN insider Dan Hayes, who is in the back of the booth taking in the festivities. Don't know why he brought that jump rope, but 0-1, and Tim tried to stab a bunt and he fouls it away, so 2 strikes.
Looked like he almost got hit with a high riding fastball inside, and when you try to lay down a bunt, the last thing you want is a fastball in the middle of your chest. There's Tim. He shortens, but that ball's riding inside. If he doesn't get a piece of that, that's going to hit him. So good idea, just a bad pitch selection to do it on, and of course you don't have any choice there.
Used to, not anymore in the rules. The hero from last night's on deck, Yolmer Sanchez, who ended up -1 jersey in the celebration last night. The 8th walk-off win for the Sox this year and the 7th since June 27th. On the ground up the middle, Iglesias to first, Avi up to third, and 2 down.
Iglesias caught a break, because if that ball flattens out, it's going to be a tough play for him to beat Anderson at first. But in the last hop, it came up pretty much to greet him, and he was able then to get the throw off. You watch the last hop right here. It comes up instead of staying down, and then he's able to flip it across. So although Iglesias is pretty quick, we've seen him beaten in this series by Anderson.
It's up to Yolmer as it was last night. He was down 2 strikes and then essentially golfed a ball down the right field line for the game winner, scoring Tim Anderson. Ball and no strikes. Yolmer Sanchez, who was privy to another Gatorade bath from Jose Abreu, who's become the king of the Gatorade.
And he lost his shirt in the process, which, because it was probably in the low 60s last night, couldn't have been all that comfortable, but he was a very happy man, as were his teammates, as they rushed out on the field.
Yolmer Sanchez drives this ball to right field. Romine back at the wall. Yolmer goes deep. 2-run home run, cracking the scoring tonight.
Eighth home run of the year. RBIs 41 and 42 for Yolmer as he takes it way back. That ball just got up, and the jet stream helped push it toward the line, but it stayed fair. Ford home run replay, got a hold of a fastball and hit a towering fly ball that just kept on carrying. Over the Kraft cave, and Yolmer kicks off the scoring. Tyler Saladino is intimating that Yolmer has gotten some newfound strength.
With that home run and the ensuing dance-off, another generous donation from the Alex Snellius family in loving memory of Ursula. To shortstop, Iglesias. Throws out Narvaez, but another Yolmer homer, and the Sox have the lead, 2-0 after 2. with a new fleece that'll be good for about a month and a half. So hi Dan, how are you?
I'm good. I don't know if you heard, I almost got killed by a marching band earlier. So.
Yeah, it was the jazz flute, right?
It was very close. Yeah, very tense.
Scott Merkin was live tweeting it. You might want to go back and look at it. The Marian Catholic Marching Band almost took care of our Dan Hayes. But I know you have some pools and patio furniture to tell us about, but also we have some injury stuff with the Sox. So let's start there with Nicky Delmonico.
Yeah, Nicky Delmonico, sprained wrist. They basically had an MRI, and he was determined to just have the sprained wrist. So it's going to be, they're going to take their time, be cautious with it, but they're not overly concerned. As Rick Renneria described all three of the recent rookie injuries, they're more nagging than anything very serious. So the White Sox are just going to take a look at them, monitor.
Jose Iglesias throttles down into second base. A leadoff double for Iglesias. His 27th two-base hit. So that's Delmonico. Reynaldo Lopez, one of those other rookie injuries.
Right, much more encouraging news on him. He threw a 50-pitch bullpen yesterday, threw all of his pitches, felt great, and he actually talked about that today, saying that, you know, last week he was a little concerned about where things were going. He wasn't quite sure what was happening with the side, back strain, sore side at the time, and he said he's made a lot of progress. He's been playing catch all week. He's expected to throw a bullpen again on Tuesday in Minnesota, and then the next step would be that he would actually return to the mound here as long as he goes, as long as everything's on track.
Well, that's good news, certainly. I know you were in the minors for a while as well. You weren't sent down. You were just reporting in the minors, but you told us about a couple of the things. Michael Kopech is starting tonight for the Sox, AAA team in Charlotte. He's gone 5 innings already. You got a chance to talk to Kopech?
I did, and a lot of the thought is that he's at 129 innings right now. Last year he pitched 78 innings between Fall League and the end of the Single-A season. And one of the reasons why they are so confident that he is throwing as well is because of his physical shape. There's a lot of talk about his off-season program and conditioning and how it's played a factor in the fact that he's been able to look as sharp as he has this late in the season. The White Sox were concerned a little bit in June when he was slumping. I think he had a 6+ ERA there, was walking more guys, and he said he had a mechanical adjustment towards the end of June they made with Jose Bautista at AA, and between that and the conditioning, they've been very impressed with how strong he's looked. Julio Venus, his AA manager, said the other day, his last start, he threw 95 on his 99th pitch. And for him to be that strong and feeling that good, it's kept the White Sox from shutting him down early. It's why he got these 3 starts at AAA Charlotte at a point when maybe they were thinking, you know, if he slows down, we're going to stop him.
But Dan, are we going to see Kopech on September 1st?
We might see him mid-September. He's going to come here, I think, and maybe throw out a first pitch or something like that. But
he's not going to play for the Sox.
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
No.
Good reporting.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve, do you have a question for Dan? Is it about the fleece?
I do. No, it's actually about Reynaldo Lopez. Could it very well be that this injury might be a blessing in disguise because now they don't have to worry about the amount of innings that he will have used up?
Absolutely, and I think that's the case where you've got a guy who also is at a career high. Now, granted, he pitched a lot of innings last year between the minors and the majors, but at the same time, you're always looking out for your young pitchers. And this is what they did with Kopech in July. They gave him a 9-day window in between when he went to the Futures game, and he said that was a refreshing thing for him to just start over. He had made the pitching adjustment where keeping his body aligned, and he said it gave him a second wind, and obviously giving Reynaldo Lopez a little 10-day breather will help him at a time when he's getting up to a season high or career high workload.
So Kinsler strikes out looking against Rodon. Now Machado with Iglesias at second. What's your favorite White Sox minor league city?
That's Charlotte's an easy one to pick just because it's so big, but I really actually enjoyed Winston-Salem. I had a great time there. Had a nice little downtown. I didn't enjoy the rain post-game, but other than that, a nice stadium.
Well, they do try to control the weather for CSN insiders, but sometimes the message doesn't get conveyed, so sorry about that.
Birmingham was good, too. I'm not going to slight that at all. I had some good barbecue there. Dreamland, it was great. So.
Well, Dreamland's a little chainish, though, right? It's chain barbecue.
Hey, if it's in the ballpark and it's easy to access.
Oh, it was in the ballpark. Okay.
You know.
Did you say you wanted to play in the ballpark?
No.
Okay. 2-0. That one's ripped to third. Saladino snares it for out number 2. All right, so empty the notebook a little bit for us. What else do you have from your minor league tour?
Well, I talked a lot to Connor Gillespie, or Casey Gillespie, pardon there, Casey Gillespie, and
calling Connor every once in a while just for previous updates.
Because Connor wouldn't have said anything, so it's nice to then talk with Casey.
We actually talked about that, the fact that they are polar opposites as far as personality. Casey said he can't play that intense, that he likes to smile once in a while, but he actually, he's having a tough season. He was excited about the chance to kind of get a fresh start with Charlotte, but he said that Connor's been actually a rock for him, a guy he can go into and talk to about struggles. And Connor had just recently been DFA'd, so they kind of were bouncing ideas off of each other. And he said he's been huge for him. He also said he got a great report on what to expect with the White Sox from Connor.
It's a shame we got a White Sox cap signed by Connor Gillespie. We want to have Casey Gillespie also sign it, to have dual Gillespies on it, because you know how valuable that would be. But unfortunately, we got the hat after you made your trip, so you'll have to make another trip. We'll give you the hat, get it signed by Casey, and then everything will be pretty good.
I think there's like 8 days left in the AAA season.
Plenty of time for you to get down there.
Well, he's not going away. I mean, you can find him. He's just not playing anymore.
Yeah, maybe if he's in an instructional league, I can grab it and get it there.
Yeah, I don't know if you know how this works. They don't just disappear into thin air when the season's over. This one hit well by Upton to right field. Avi's back at the wall, and this ball clears the fence for Justin Upton. The home run leader for the Tigers ties the game.
Gives you an idea just how strong Upton is, because that went into right center field. It went out by enough. It's our fourth home run replay, and it's 28-93 for Upton. He's trying to finish off what has been a terrific year for him. He gets a fastball away. He believes it's gone when it left the bat. And with Avi running out of room, it is gone.
So base is clear. Ball one to Miguel Cabrera. Dan, what do you think of these Players Weekend jerseys?
Actually, seen as I went to San Diego State, and it's red and black. I love the White Sox look there, and the Tigers, I'm okay with the orange. It's great. It's different, and it allows some personality.
This one hit well to right field. Avi's back at the warning track, and the wall. Avi leaps, and Avi Garcia went up to get it. He could not pull it in, and it's a home run for Cabrera. Avi almost was there, but Cabrera just gets it by for a 3-2 lead.
It's the 14th of the year for Cabrera. This one just barely made it. Avi set up well. He got back in time. Our fourth home run replay. And this is a play that Avi normally makes exceptionally well. He goes up as high as he can go, doesn't miss this one by much, but unfortunately it was a little too tall for him, and that gives the Tigers the lead.
So 3-2 is the score as Cabrera has number 14. White Sox in the minors as of the other day, as of his last start, Alec Hansen became the strikeout leader in the minor leagues. You got a chance to talk to him?
Yeah, I spent about 10 minutes with him in Winston-Salem, and obviously he is now making his debut at AA Birmingham on Monday. Got the promotion, his second of the season, and we talked about confidence with him, and that's one thing that the White Sox really wanted to do when they drafted him, was build him back up. He had that rough junior year, struggled a little bit. They got him into the organization. They put him at Great Falls for most of last season, and you've seen it. He said it was a huge thing for him to just kind of have a nice platform of success, and he's had a great year all the way across. Had 82 strikeouts and 58 1/3 at Winston-Salem after the promotion from Kannapolis. But he talked about not a whole lot of mechanical adjustments were made. He said it was more just standing up taller. They just made a minor adjustment with him, and really going with the confidence, and the two combinations have been very big for him.
Well, the Sox don't get him where they got him if he happened to have a very good year his last year in college, but he didn't. He struggled, and because of that he dropped down, and the Sox were able to get him. They were ecstatic, the fact that that kind of quality arm was available when they picked. So, you know, it worked out very well for the Sox, and eventually it's going to work out well for Hansen, because I think this is a great organization for him to be in, with their history of developing pitchers fairly quickly and getting him to the major leagues. So that's a good thing.
I had one scout say to me that Dane Dunning, who also was there at Winston-Salem at the time, has probably a better chance of being a major leaguer. That's where he's got this path where he's going to be a major leaguer almost no matter what. But that Alec Hansen had a greater chance of being a star, an ace potential pitcher. He just has more of a window for not making it, if that makes sense. And really, Hansen at one point was talked about as the first overall pick possibly, fell to them at 49. And it was a big thing. He said that year was really tough because he knew he wanted to be a top 10 pick and how important that actually was to him, being a high first rounder. And all of a sudden, 2 weeks and 3 weeks into the season, he's out of the rotation and unsure about what his role was going to be at Oklahoma. And it was very difficult for him to have all that hard work thrown away, is how he put it.
Well, Dan Hayes, certainly appreciate your insights not only on the injuries but also on the minor league tour that you had, and we look forward to hearing from you. What is it, every 4 weeks now you stop by, or what?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, you know, life-changing event with the marching band, so probably will be back a little bit more often than that.
Why were you in the middle of the marching band?
I wasn't. I was actually behind the railing. We set it up so that I was behind the railing. But the flutes, they stand out, and you know it's a marching band, so they march in a pack, and they had to stay on the warning track.
Thank you for the definition of marching band too.
I figured you needed a little help there.
One.
So
yeah, so what is it? They're a band.
They are,
but they also
they march. They do.
Wow.
So
that's crazy. Dan Hayes, thank you very much. Dan Hayes, presented by The Great Escape, as always. Pools, patio furniture, fleeces, and jump ropes. Always good to see Danny. This first pitch is bounced to shortstop. Anderson to second. Sox get 4 outs. They'll be able to trade one of those at some point down the line. Tigers go back-to-back in the third. It's 3-2.
And by State Farm, the discussion of the Bears quarterback situation heading into the third preseason game. Should John Fox go with Mitch Trubisky or Mike Glennon? Can anything change the team's depth chart before the start of the regular season? Subscribe today and you'll find out the answers to those burning questions.
Who do you think should be the quarterback?
Glennon.
Don't say Eric Kramer.
Glennon.
Why?
Because I think they need Mitch to sit back and watch a little bit before he ascends what is going to be probably the place where he's going to spend a great deal of time.
Adam Engel, first pitch hunting, flares it to right field, and Romine for a quick out, number 1 in this third inning. So you're playing the long game with Trubisky.
I think you have to do that. I think that's why they got Glennon in the first place, to buy a little time, because they felt that they would be trading up and picking a quarterback.
That's our CSN Bears insider, Steve Stone.
There you go, and there you go.
A young Druid at the ballpark tonight.
Might come in handy with the temperatures and the wind.
Yeah, that wind is really gusting now, left to right. So Michael Kopech, by the way, we talked with Dan Hayes about Kopech in AAA. As you see the winds really picking up as this ball's fouled down the line from Hansen. For Kopech, 5 innings, 2 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, 1 earned run. So the first 2 starts in Charlotte have gone very well for Michael Kopech.
Nice to see the secondary pitches be able to play regardless of what level he's at. That's the one thing he had to work on. Everybody knew the big fastball was there. The question would be command of the slider and the changeup, and Michael's been able to do some good things with those 2 pitches.
One and 2 for Hansen. That's away. Nobody seems to want the American League wild card, by the way. The Twins lost today. The Mariners lost today. So the Twins at 66 and 63 are still the wild card team in that second spot. Baltimore won, which means the Orioles are 2 games back of Minnesota at 64 and 65. Texas lost 2 to drop to 64 and 65. Two up high. 3 and 2 for Hansen, who has gone 69 straight plate appearances without a walk.
He's knocking at the door.
Three balls, 2 strikes.
Able to foul that one off and keep the at bat alive. 8th pitch of the at bat forthcoming as Tyler waiting for his opportunity.
Three and 2 from Farmer. And another foul ball from Hansen. There's no rain in the forecast, but the wind, the way the wind has picked up and the clouds surrounding the field, it feels like a night where there would be rain, but there is no rain in the forecast. That's your weather report. Nonsensical weather report.
It's Skilling on the phone.
3 and 2. Hansen in the air left side. This is a fair ball. And Upton is there for out number 2. Mention the up and down nature of Buck Farmer's 4 starts for the Tigers this year. Here's a Brad Ausmus quote from MLive.com from his last start in the majors. Ball just started coming up on him, especially breaking balls. Kind of similar to last time. The breaking ball gets up in the middle and doesn't have a good bite down in the zone.
But one of the reasons why it's not biting down in the zone is that he's throwing sliders and not curveballs. And if you don't stay with the slider, it is going to stay up.
Saladino frustrated with that swing. Kinsler is back, and Ian Kinsler makes the play for out number 3. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Farmer, his 2nd of the day, and he's got the lead. tonight, including table tennis. Anyone?
Yes, a ping pong paddle with a Sox logo on it, as well as our unicorn that is watching over the prize shelf. Just in case you do win something, this is a very nice prize. And we've got some other things back from 1917 game. A bowler, as it were. Yes, that's a good look for you.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
You can have that lovely
the hat, not
whatever that
singing.
is. Oh, no. Yeah, you can keep that. But the hat you can have. Bobby Bertucci coming up and delivering a sack of goodies. Thank you.
Mucho sandwiches from Bobby.
Ooh, combos. Terrific.
There's a ground ball foul from McCann, 1-1. And here's the final out of that third inning, Steve.
And take a look at Mickey Matuk, because he's got no idea where the ball is. Fortunately for him, the wind did bat it down, and Kinsler was able to make the catch. But Matuk had no idea. That's the second ball tonight that he's completely lost. And because it's not nighttime, the lights haven't taken over.
Hard hit to short. Anderson absorbs the contact and throws out McCann for out number 1. Here's your Sox Math question for tonight. Hashtag Sox Math. First correct answer wins a prize. Number of players drafted ahead of Carlos Rodon 3 years ago, multiplied by the number of strikes on Yolmer when he had the game winner last night. Hashtag Sox Math. First correct answer on Twitter wins a prize off the prize shelf. And as always, you can't have the unicorn.
As always. And
that ball hit by Romine to left field. Hansen is back and he has to play it off the wall. Romine's on his way to second base with a 1-out double.
This becomes important for certainly the position in the ball game, with the Tigers already leading by a run. But when you touch up a young pitcher in an inning, it's very hard for him to come back and shut the offense down the next time he goes out there. So Romine takes it over the head of Hansen, runs it into a 2-base hit. Now Carlos will deal with a man who doubled off him last time before moving to the top in Kinsler.
It's Iglesias, who's now 3 for 5 against Rodon for his career. Nine-hitter in the lineup for the Tigers, as Detroit, in their third crack at Rodon in his major league lifetime, has put up 3 runs. Carlos, the first 2 starts against Detroit, allowed 4 earned in each. Oh-2. Iglesias very tough to strike out, stays alive. White Sox fans, join us as the Sox take on the Indians Thursday, September 7th, 7:10 p.m. First 20,000 fans get a White Sox hooded Henley presented by Guaranteed Rate. Get your low mortgage rate at rate.com today. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com. Iglesias checks his swing on a ball in the dirt. He did go around. He backpedals from the plate, and he is very out.
He didn't know that he was out because he didn't look at Lance Barrett, and he's telling him he checked it up, and Lance is telling him, I don't think so. We'll take a look from the side. This is the view that Lance had. He says he went too far. Iglesias getting out of the way, and now he can't believe it. What, me? Nah, I didn't do that.
Iglesias is more than welcome to find the rule book definition of swing and dispute it with Lance Barrett over at first.
See Lloyd McClendon in your picture, and longtime baseball man and a base hit.
Kinsler into center field. Romine's on his way home. 4-2 Tigers.
That's one of the few times that Ian Kinsler has done what he normally does with regularity, and that's go after the first pitch, especially something that's in the zone. Omar wanted this a high fastball. He didn't get it. He got it belt high, and Kinsler takes it back up the middle, driving in just his 38th run of the year. So it hasn't been a banner year for Ian. But he does put the Tigers on top by 2, and there's no rhyme nor reason to why some guys get touched up by various clubs. The Tigers have always been difficult for Carlos.
Kinsler now 3 for 8 against Rodon in his career, including 4 driven in.
An example of how some teams have other guys' numbers that you normally wouldn't expect. Cleveland Indians, over the last 3 times that Chris Sale's gone to the mound against them, including the last time, have really roughed up Chris.
Kinsler runs, and he is saved. Quick tag by Sanchez, but not quick enough. Kinsler steals bag number 13.
Kinsler was going on first move. He chose not to run in the first inning, but this time he's off to the races. The throw is a good one, just not quite in time as the left hand is in. Miller does a nice job coming down with the tag. It's just too late.
So now Kinsler in scoring position for Dixon Machado, who lines it hard to left field. Hansen's up with it. They'll test him. Throws cut off, and the Tigers lead 5-2.
Dixon Machado a couple of years ago looked like a guy that would have perennial trouble hitting the baseball, but during the offseason he went out and got bigger and got stronger, and now he's hitting up close to 300, including a line drive last inning and a base hit here. So he drives in his 11th run, and the stolen base certainly comes home to roost as Kinsler scores, and it's a 3-run Tiger lead, as Carlos has had some problems the last couple of innings. We talked about the difficulty of turning off the opposition after they touch you up as they did last inning.
He fires in a strike to Upton, who hit the home run in the 3rd. Cabrera, Upton back to back, the ones doing the damage you're talking about in that 3rd inning. 2 strikes on Upton.
School of thought in Detroit is that Upton, who's owed something in the neighborhood of $80-some million left on his long-term deal, has an out at the end of this year, and there's a lot of people believe that he will go after that out and check and see what he's worth on the open market. With the numbers he's going to put up this year, which is going to be over 30 home runs, well over 100 driven in, he could be the best power hitter on the open market. With a lot of teams looking for guys that can put up those kind of numbers, he believes the biggest payday is to come.
1-2. And it's inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's a lot of money to pass up, though.
There's no doubt. But coming off the kind of year he's having, you know, there's a few teams out there that would covet having a guy that can repeat that. The question is, can he repeat it?
To third base, Saladino at the line, goes the short way to second to retire the side. The dark side has the lead, 5-2.
forward to Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Sox hoping that is a comeback Miller moment tonight. We may need the rally unicorn later. First pitch, strike one to Jose Abreu, who flied out in the first. Hot dog fruit. Oh, only he can have the fruit there, little one. But the hot dog looks so good.
Well, the little guy's right about that. Hot dog's terrific.
And Abreu gets hit.
He looked out at Farmer, but there's no way in the world that Farmer's going to hit him. There's really no reason to at this point. And that one got away and got him, looked like in the thigh.
Tigers have enough pending suspensions that they don't need to incite any more brawls.
No, and you got a guy who's got the lead in this game and who's still trying to secure his spot in the starting rotation. Last thing he wants to do is open the door for a big inning. And putting on the leadoff man ahead of the middle of the order is a way to give up that big inning.
Avi Garcia with Abreu at first. Davidson to follow. And Buck Farmer on the mound. Missing inside. The suspensions were rather interesting. Miguel Cabrera gets 7 for inciting it. 4 for Alex Wilson for hitting Todd Frazier in the leg and admitting it. Gary Sanchez with 4 for punching people at the bottom of the pile who were defenseless, and 0 to Dellin Betances for hitting McCann in the head, and 0 to Tommy Kahnle, who was ejected for throwing behind a Detroit Tiger.
And 0 to David Robertson, who also hit somebody in that game later in the game.
I don't understand how you cannot get suspended for hitting somebody in the head. On the ground, Machado at third, and a double clutch from Kinsler, safe.
So we'll see if that comes back to haunt them, because the double clutch stopped the double play. We'll take a look. This is an easy 2, and Kinsler, who normally is very good on these, can't get it out of his glove. By the time he does, Avi, who's hustling all the way, beats the play at first.
So 1 down, Davidson the batter. You've got somebody in the middle of multiple brawls hitting someone in the head.
Yep.
0 games. It's the most dangerous act of all of them that happened that day, and it's not close.
That's one of the reasons, if you watched some of the post-game interviews, Joe Girardi was close to apoplectic with the sequence of events, and then he kind of catches a break with Betances. I mean, it was one of those baseball fights you don't see a great deal of these days at all. I mean, that was a throwback situation.
You can make the argument that if you hit somebody in the head, no matter what the intent is, you should be suspended.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a good argument, but okay.
Why?
Because pitchers don't have complete control of everything they do, and if you start trying to read the mind of these pitchers all the time, I think you are on a slippery slope.
Broken bat pop-up, foul territory, and the catcher McCann is there. I mean, that's why you take the intent out of it, though, and you just say, okay, strict liability. You miss there, you're going to get suspended.
I can't see that ever happening. I don't think it ever should.
It's so dangerous to hit somebody in the head with a baseball.
This is a very dangerous game, and I would say the overwhelming majority of the times where you do run one up and in and hit somebody in the head, you absolutely are not trying to hit him in the head.
But you are trying to throw it close to there, right?
It depends. I mean, yeah, you have to pitch inside. You take away pitching inside from hitters, and guys are going to hit 650.
Well, you could make other rule changes to help out the pitchers, though. Ground ball to short, and that will do it. So 1 stranded, 5-2 Tigers after 4.
by AWS, and the home run by Miguel Cabrera. Opposite field. Exit velocity of just over 100 miles an hour. Launch angle. It was a high fly ball at 31.2 degrees, and it didn't go very far. It just went far enough at 363 feet. That's just a 14th of the year for Miggy.
And it's been a down year for Cabrera and Kinsler and the veteran guys offensively on this team who have provided the core offense for the Tigers over the past couple of years.
The same thing is true with Victor Martinez. So it looks like injuries have started to catch up with these guys, although Miggy is having a good night tonight.
3 times on base for Cabrera, 2 for 2 and a walk. And here's a look at the wins above replacement according to Fangraphs, the F-WAR for these guys. You see the decline from Kinsler from 5.8 last year. Cabrera just 0.4 above replacement level, and Martinez actually under basically the average 4A guy that you could get.
And unfortunately for the Tigers, they've gone for it so much. They signed a lot of older players to bigger contracts, and now it's tough to get out from under those contracts.
How do you do it? I mean, what's the next step for the Tigers, do you think?
They're going to have to make some very tough decisions and possibly eat some parts of contracts if they can move guys. Or
ground ball to third. Saladino flips it to second and got one very nimbly. No chance at 2 with the way Matuk runs, but Cabrera out at second.
That was a particularly difficult play for Tyler because this ball hit the seam right where the grass meets the dirt, and it flattens out. You see it right there. It looks like it's going to be a hopper. It flattens out. He's able to stay with it, and that's a ringing endorsement of keeping the glove down. Because if he's riding high with the glove, that ball is going to go right down under it. They get 1, can't get 2, but a fine play by Saladino. That looked like it was ticketed for left field when the ball flattened out.
Here's a strike. Martinez with 1 out.
Well, it took 2 for 2 in stolen bases.
Marley talking to Brad Ausmus.
I'm wondering if Ausmus wanted to take some time to look at the play at first base, and Nick Marley said throw it to Carlos Rodon. That would seem to be the only thing that could come into play. Maybe he wanted a little more time to take a look at that play at first.
Oh, to see maybe if Sanchez was on the bag at second on the turn.
That could have been. He didn't have a chance to look at either, but
Ausmus is done, I believe. Check swing, and he did go around. Matuk to second base on a steal, number 3 for him this season, and 2 down. Let's take a look at our Sox math answer for tonight. Answer's 4. 2 players ahead of Rodon, 3rd overall. 2 strikes on Carlos Orioles when he hit the game winner last night. 4 is the answer. C-Square 12 is your victor. Congratulations to C-Square 12. Two out, runner at second, McCann. To third base off of Saladino, and no chance to recover for Tyler. Runners at the corners. It's a base hit for McCann.
Was a tough hop, and Tyler couldn't come get it. And as he waits back, the ball just eats him up.
So 2 down for Romine, who doubled and scored back in the 4th. And there's ball number 1 to Andrew Romine.
They're going to change it to an error, and unfortunately it truly was. Romine's been swinging it pretty well. Had a couple of hits last night and 1 early in this one.
Romine, who in that brawl the other day was the one to try to calm his brother down, Austin, behind the plate. He ended up going and saying, look, after the game last night, before the game today, he said he went to go talk to his brother because he figured if anybody's going to calm him down, he's the only one that's going to do it. And he said at first Austin didn't want to make eye contact with him, but then finally he did, and everything was diffused ultimately by the departure of the Yankees.
Yeah, there was a lot of punches thrown in that one.
Ball and 2 strikes on Romine. And fouled away. Hey, Sox fans, join us Friday, September 1st if you're a Deadhead for Grateful Dead Night as the Sox take on the Rays. Get this ticket package to receive a game ticket and a specially designed White Sox Grateful Dead tee. Be sure to stick around for the post-game fireworks show presented by Jewel Osco. It's whitesox.com/Grateful Dead. And another foul ball from Romine. Let me ask you this. We had the conversation about hitting players in the head.
Yeah.
Do you think Betances should have been suspended?
It's hard to say because not being down there, I think because I don't think he was tossed out of the game, so it was discretion of the umpire. They didn't think he was thrown at him. Betances said it was a slider. Not that you can't hit a guy with a slider, but
StatCast said it was 98, so StatCast disagrees with Betances. Hitting over.
Slider.
Yeah, sure was. 5-2, 4.5 deep. Live, and Stanley, the official tools of the Chicago White Sox. Stanley, performance in action. It's a paperweight night here at the ballpark. The wind is kicked up.
This is as intense a wind as we've had in quite some time at the ballpark, and it is affecting the flight of the baseball, making it a little difficult on the guys to continue to track him. Matuk's missed a couple of balls in center field he just lost track of.
Tigers weren't adversely affected by it because somebody else picked it up, but yeah, there are 2 disappearing baseballs for Mikey Montauk. And the rain now starts to come down. It was drizzling a little bit earlier, and now it's showing its face again. I told Joe Grube it felt like rain, and he's still a denier.
He is a definite rain denier. He says it's not going to rain even as it's pelting down.
Joe's one of those sky is purple guys, even when it's blue. Sanchez lightly to second base, and Kinsler for out number 1.
There you see it is starting to rain.
Now that you've said it, will Joe admit it?
No, he will not.
Oh, it's not raining. Look over there. It's not raining. 1 down for Narvaez. In the air, Mikey Montauk hurrying in. He never saw it again. That's 3.
Well, he broke straight back on that one. That one he just misread. That ball he took 3 steps back and then couldn't right himself as is off the end of the bat. So Montauk having a bad night in center field. This is the only time it cost him, however. You watch him, you can see it there. Watch what happens. He goes straight back and then figures, ooh, well, that wasn't a good break. So Omar will take it as Montauk read it very poorly that time.
Rough night for Mikey Montauk.
It is. Not swinging the bat, but certainly playing center field.
I mean, that is just an uncomfortable feeling out there when you know all night and you just haven't seen the ball. And that one he had, but not right away.
Yeah, that unfortunately for him, but fortunately for us, he is having a tough night. But again, the visibility right now, because the skies are dark, I can understand it early, especially with a 6-10 ball game. Visibility is going to be tough early. Going to be tough on a lot of the hitters, certainly on the fielders, especially with anything that goes up in the air. But now it is nighttime, and the visibility should be pretty good.
No balls, 2 strikes. By the way, that was an unceremonious ejection of Brad Ausmus earlier. We believed he was thrown out, and he indeed has been thrown out of the game. So without getting his money's worth from Nick Marley, Brad Ausmus becomes a ghost in the first base dugout. 5th ejection of the year for Ausmus, and strikeout number 3 for Buck Farmer tonight. 2 down. Commemorate the Hall of Fame career of White Sox star outfielder Tim Raines by buying a limited edition Tim Raines Hall of Fame dual bobblehead. This unique keepsake that you see right there includes action shots of Tim's likeness as a White Sox and Expos player. Rock bobbleheads, just $40 each, and available while supplies last. Visit whitesox.com/rockbobble to get yours today, and you see the figurine on September 9th. As well, so a lot of Tim Raines stuff for you as the season goes along.
Well, that was a big effort by Machado, and Brian Knight says no, it's safe. He thought he was going to have a good shot at making the play as this ball is rotating back toward the field of play. As you can see, he did have a shot at it, and the fans did not interfere. But you saw what Brian Knight did. He was motioning that he went into the stands to go and get it and didn't come away with it.
Not even smells like rain here at the ballpark.
It's because it's raining.
Thank you.
Don't ask Joe, though.
No, it's not raining. In the air, left side. Upton on the move into foul territory. He's there to make the play. And the inning is over. Narvaez stranded. Sox with 3 hits, 2 runs, but trailing by 3.
Pitcher Carlos Rodon talks with Chuck Garfien about his past, present, and future with the White Sox, including the injury which forced him to miss the first 3 months of the season and much more. Subscribe to the podcast today. And Mike Pelfrey comes in the ball game. Carlos Rodon is out after 5 innings, gave up 5 runs on 7 hits. Pelfrey on for the 26th time. Most of those numbers accumulated while he was a starting pitcher, now working exclusively out of the bullpen. And he's got to hold him right there. It's a 3-run deficit, but a long way to go. And the Sox have been coming back. So the job Mike Pelfrey is put up some goose eggs.
Big Pelf. There's a strike to Jose Iglesias.
How do you get that nickname?
Well, will you just go? He was one of the guys in the pregame show poll who has the best Players Weekend nickname. Big Pelf. I'd have voted for Kevin Smith's, but only with the story of Ripper behind it.
Oh, see, yeah, but he turned that down.
Well, he just didn't want to do all the paperwork having to do with getting the nickname Ripper.
It is kind of unusual, don't you think? Having to sign a waiver on your nickname?
Yeah, I think so. 0-2 is outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I think it's a non-player that has the best Players Weekend jersey for the White Sox. I really do. I know Moncada's is good. Yo-Yo, Abreu with Mal Tiempo. Tim Anderson to throw out his counterpart. And 1 away. Earlier on today, we had a look at the best jersey. That's Greg Sparks, the assistant hitting coach for the Sox, with S. Panther. I think his jersey is made of bits of real panther. Greg Sparks, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes Greg isn't outside while the opposing team is hitting because the designated hitter or some pinch hitter or somebody is taking swings in the batting cage, getting ready for the next at bat. Greg is the guy who simulates other pitchers, especially left-handed pitchers, during the game for the Sox. So that's why we had to show you footage from earlier of S. Panther.
I thought it was just Spanther.
Yeah. Ball and a strike. Pelfrey to Kinsler. A breaking ball outside. So Carlos Rodon, 5 innings, 5 runs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. He hit 2 batters as well. 7 hits against Carlos this evening. Count now 3-1 to Kinsler. Mike Pelfrey again facing a former team of his.
The problem is if he doesn't get Kinsler, he probably is going to run on him, as Mike is not the quickest to home plate.
Three and 1. That's a strike on the corner. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Strike 3 on the corner. He extended the play and a little bit more from strike 2, and Pelfrey earns the strikeout.
Too close to take. Kinsler thought it was ball 4. Nick Marley thought otherwise, as that fastball had some movement back toward the plate. We told you early in this one that Nick Marley has a pitcher's plate tonight. So if you're taking a whole lot of pitches close, odds are he's going to ring you up.
As he did right there. Kinsler's second strikeout looking. Ian Kinsler, who got into it earlier this year against his reputation with Angel Hernandez. Tag to left field. Machado back-to-back hits, and the fourth and the sixth for him. You can follow Dan Hayes, our White Sox insider, all season long on CSNChicago.com. Presented by The Great Escape. Pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Escape your everyday. Shop The Great Escape. 1 on, 2 out for Justin Upton, whose 2-run home run opened the scoring tonight for the Tigers, as the Sox had the lead 2-0 this evening after 2. A hook for a strike to Upton. Don't look now, but the Royals have a perfect game going with Jason Hamill on the mound against the Indians. He's through 5.
Machado's only tried to steal a base once. He's been successful.
On 1 strike. Strike 2. Sox and Tigers will play at 1:10 tomorrow. Lucas Giolito's second White Sox start comes at 1:10. Coca-Cola Family Sunday. Kids run the bases, weather pending after the game. Oh, and 2. Broken bat. Tim Anderson throws him out. Upton did not run. He was going to be out anyway, but he certainly didn't run. 5-2 your score after 5.5.
Fan cam, bring the fun home.
Star Wars night at the ballpark. Oh, well, but it's still Elvis night for some.
Not his fault. The folks got the tickets for tonight. The kid wanted the last night tickets. Good night for the kids at the ballpark tonight.
It certainly is. Star Wars fans of every generation. Saladino first takes a strike, and Buck Farmer has again thrown well against the Sox.
Well, third time through the order, with the middle of the order, this should be a pretty decent inning for the Sox.
Iglesias for out number 1. Join us Tuesday, September 5th. The Sox team up with Love Your Melon to help fight childhood cancer. This ticket package includes a game ticket and limited edition White Sox Love Your Melon beanie. Fortune from each ticket sold will go toward Love Your Melon's nonprofit partners. Beanies are available for the first 500 purchasers, so visit whitesox.com/melon to get yours today.
Bradley Zimmer broke up the perfect game. Had a base hit.
Cleveland comes in today, so it was 5 1/3 for Hamill. Cleveland comes in today 5.5 up on Minnesota, and the Twins lost, so it's 6 now.
And even with a rash of injuries that have attacked the Indians later in the year, primarily to Andrew Miller being one of them, and Jason Kipnis, another one of those injuries, the Indians just will not. They get too much talent to give way to Minnesota in this division.
Oh boy.
Boy, that got
Marley behind
Marley.
the plate.
Lance Barrett comes in, wants to check on him and find out if he's okay, because that got him square, and that was, he took a good shot. In fact, all the umpires, and Hermes coming out, which is also a very nice thing. The home club trainer will go out if the umpires have any needs at all, and Hermes taking a look, looked like it got him either in the throat area or the collarbone.
Got both of them.
Well, it got the mask. It got the mask of McCann and then got Marley under the throat. I mean, that's just terrible luck, but that's what umpires have to deal with. You saw exactly where Marley was. He was in the slot, and McCann was sitting on the outside corner.
And you see the side view of that throat protector, right? But if the ball comes from the side, it's not going to help.
You got no protection whatsoever. And normally, I mean, that's just a terrible break, because you just don't see that happen very much. That's why the protector is in the front and normally does the job, but you can't predict something coming in from the side like that.
1-2, and now Farmer protects himself and throws Abreu out. 2 gone in the 6th. Boy, that thing came off of McCann's mask pretty hot too, onto Marley.
Meantime, Buck Farmer, knowing that this is a big start for him in the grand scheme of things, certainly wanting to be in that starting rotation next year, and every start he has from here on out will either elevate his chances or diminish them if things don't go very well. But tonight he hasn't done anything to diminish his chances for next year. He's been pretty good.
Just 3 hits allowed, 2 singles and a homer, and now he's working on his footing with the rain light but steady for the last half hour, 45 minutes. So 3 balls, no strikes on Avi. Who's got one of those 3 hits tonight. That's ball 4, so a 2-out 4-pitch walk to Garcia as we go around Major League Baseball, and one of the great talented players on a not very good team right now, Rhys Hoskins, goes deep for the 9th time yesterday for the Philadelphia Phillies, and what a first couple of weeks that young man has had. He and Dylan Cousins together, very talented hitters for the Phillies, and that one coming off of Jose Quintana. I mean, 9 home runs in the first 16 games for Hoskins. What a pace.
Yeah, I should say so. Tiger pen up and going. And it is Daniel Stump.
Oh, and 2 on Davidson, who in his return, first game back in 25 days, is 0 for 2 tonight.
He's also seeing a steady diet of really good sliders. He hasn't seen him for a while. He's going to see another one here.
In the dirt, decided to not swing at it. A ball and 2 strikes. Well, Matt certainly has provided some power. The strikeouts are up there as well. And, you know, say he runs into one here, a wayward fastball. This is suddenly a much more favorable situation for the Sox. Let's see.
Well, I would be shocked if he throws him a fastball, and it appears he's not going to do it, at least on this pitch.
Davidson rips it and down for a hit. Garcia stops at second. Now off the bobble. He's on his way to third, and runners at the corners for the Sox here in the 6th.
Mikey Montuk is not having one of his banner nights in the field. It's going to be base hit E8 because Avi had checked it up at second base. He had no intention of going to third with 2 outs, and Montuk just missed it.
Mama said there'll be days like this.
Yeah, he's swinging it pretty well, but the defensive aspect is mystifying for him tonight. And normally he is not a bad outfielder.
Now Tim Anderson, the tying run in this game, takes down low. Nice take by Tim on a ball that hung in the zone for a while. Anderson slugs this into right center field. The Sox are back on the board. Davidson off to third. Anderson with an RBI double, and suddenly something cooking on a nothing for the Sox in the 6th.
'44th driven in, and this fastball's right down the middle. Tim Anderson, who's been swinging it pretty well lately, takes it to right center, and then, knowing that there's no chance for Montuk to throw him out at second base, he takes off. Montuk got the ball in quickly because he wanted to make sure that Davidson couldn't score, and puts tying runs on second and third, and that is going to be it for Farmer. So as he departs, so will we, and we'll be back.
halfway to St. Patrick's Day, presented by Jameson Irish Whiskey. Join us as we celebrate the heritage of the South Side Irish. First 20,000 fans ages 21 and over get a White Sox flat cap and stay after the game for fireworks. Buy your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com/SPD.
Our Hyundai call to the pen is Daniel Stumpf. On for the 37th time. He's had a very good year. His ERA at 2.84. There you look at the rest of the numbers. His left-handers have hit him a touch better than right-handers, and the tying runs are on for the very hot Yolmer.
Sanchez spins around to bat right-handed against the lone lefty in the Tiger pen, Stumpf. And that's called strike one, a borderline pitch. Yolmer in the rain after being doused by Gatorade last night. Stumpf gave up a run in his last outing a couple of days ago against the Yankees.
And the Tiger pen still going. Warwick Southpole.
Oh, 2. Yolmer fists it foul. You would imagine Stumpf would face Sanchez and then the lefty Narvaez if the inning continues.
Inning continues. It's going to be pretty good news for the Sox, who have come back late in a lot of ball games, especially of recent vintage.
Inside, ball and 2 strikes on Sanchez. We showed you the clip of Rhys Hoskins, by the way, with his 9th homer yesterday. He has his 10th on the board tonight. So that tote board continues to cycle upward. 1 and 2 on Sanchez. Yolmer in the air to right field. Down the line it goes. Romine sees it fly foul.
There's a break because the wind that we've talked about, which has been so much in evidence all game tonight, pushed that ball into the seats and kept the at bat alive for Yolmer. Not only the rain to contend with, but the wind pushing it toward the right field corner, and in that case, giving Yolmer at least another pitch.
Ball and 2 strikes. Stumpf to Sanchez. Yolmer goes after the high fastball and the inning's over. Sox strand 2 and score 1. Make it 5-3. We'll check in with Kampka's swap meet after this. The only place where you don't get to know what you buy. Chris Kamka's swap meet. Okay. So two guys that have played a varying amount of games. On base percentage, slugging percentage higher for the guy on the right. I'm going to take the guy on the right.
Okay, but well, you left me with a subpar on base percentage.
Yeah.
More runs batted in, a few more home runs, worse batting average. I'll take the guy on the left because you took the guy on the right.
You don't want to buy the same thing?
No.
Okay. We'll see in a moment who we purchased. Here's Miguel Cabrera. Strike one. Sox trying to come back tonight for Carlos Rodon, who was knocked out after 5. Mike Pelfrey on for his second inning.
Buck Farmer did a pretty nice job. Went 5 2/3, 3 runs on 5 hits with just 1 lone walk and 3 strikeouts.
Left side base hit. Cabrera has been on 4 times tonight as we take a look inside our shopping bags at Chris Kamka's swap meet, which travels on the road sometimes. It may show up in your town. Buyer beware. Oh, it's
Yolmer and Carlos.
Carlos and Yolmer.
How about that?
Well done, Kamka. You add the glasses and you get Yolmer. So I get the more powerful version. Oh, you got the more powerful version. I got the better on-base Yolmer.
But we both wind up with a Yolmer one way or the other.
That's great.
That's not so bad.
Well, last night, Yolmer, not Carlos, Yolmer had the game-winning hit for the Sox. And you saw the glasses that are on Yolmer and weren't on Carlos. Those are new Oakley glasses for Yolmer, and he has 2 pairs of them. And
he really thinks highly of those, by the way.
Very much so. Yeah. So highly that he had one of those other walk-offs for the Sox earlier this year, and he almost had his glasses broken in the ensuing skirmish and celebration. So last night, Yolmer's big issue is, I got to get rid of these glasses. Watch him.
He's trying to kill some time until Juan Minaya can get the glasses from him. So he knows he's going to take a dousing, but he just wants to make sure he has his auxiliary pair of glasses.
I said to him before the game, I said, Abreu was going to get you no matter what. He said, yeah, I knew that, but I was just looking for somebody to get the glasses off to, and he did, thanks to Juan Minaya, who not only saves games but also eyewear.
Nice to see Yolmer not that caught up in the euphoria to realize how important being able to see a baseball at 90+ miles an hour is.
That's 80 level panic, by the way, that he had, just looking for anybody to throw those things to. 0-2 on Matuk.
Interesting thing about Matuk is he really struggled with the batting average below 200 last year. He got with Lloyd McClendon, and they talked about what he could do to get a little better, and Lloyd, in looking at his style, decided to make him a more straight up hitter. You see it there. Instead of using any crouch at all, he's pretty much straight up, and that seems to have turned on the light for him because he's having a wonderful year.
There was always significant talent. I got to see him a little bit in AAA, and you could just see skill-wise there's a lot in there as Jake Petrichka gets loose for the Sox. But this has been a different Mikey Matuk this season offensively.
And it took a couple of adjustments, as hitters just have to do. Pitchers the same thing. It is, and we've talked about it a lot, it is a game of adjustment, and he made a drastic adjustment, and it's turned up unbelievably well for him.
Pelfrey down low, 2-2 for Matuk. By the way, remember that perfect game Kansas City had earlier tonight? Yeah, they're down 4-0 now to the Indians.
Indians still pretty tough.
Roberto Perez, Edwin Encarnacion, and Carlos Santana all have homered since the perfect game was broken up. 2-2 for Matuk. Pelfrey with ball 3.
It's been a tough night defensively for Mikey Matuk. He can't find a baseball, and that time it wound up in Kinsler's glove. And this time he couldn't find a baseball, and it landed for a base hit. This time he did find a baseball, wishing he didn't, as it bounds away and he gets charged with an error.
Felt like I was on It's a Small World for a moment there.
He's a former #1 draft pick of those Tampa Bays, by the way.
Indeed.
So they did think highly of him.
Out of LSU. Shortstop Anderson jump throw, and he got it there. Nice stretch by Yolmer for out number 1, and a beautiful play by Anderson.
This is the only play that Tim had. You're not going to get Matuk at first. And Yolmer able to get back and get a piece of the bag before the sliding Cabrera.
So now a double play candidate in Victor Martinez.
Victor's grounded into 15 of them this year, far and away the team lead in that department.
It's a closer play than it looked like it was going to be. Matuk didn't slide, but Nighthawks don't have to slide. There's the shift on Anderson to the right side of second. See, this shift would set up one of those funky double plays for the Sox.
Yeah, Tim's going to be the pivot man, and we've seen lots of 4-6s. We haven't seen all that many 5-6 double plays, but if Martinez goes that way and Tyler's the only guy home on the left side of the infield, it's going to be a 5-6 double play.
That was a strike that didn't get called. 2-0 to Martinez. Two balls and no strikes. Long look in from Pelfrey. Second inning tonight for Pelfrey after Rodon went 5. By the way, down in AAA, Charlotte got the win over Gwinnett 3-1. Casey Gillespie with a double and Brad Goldberg with the save. Jake Peter 3 for 5, his average up to .305 in his first AAA year. Ball 4, 2 on, 1 out. McCann coming up. So we've been playing Chris Kamka's swap meet during this homestand. Let's see what we bought. Here's my team: Fisk, Mauer, Thomas, Sherm, and Sanchez. Yolmer, Sanchez. And you've got Pudge, Pedroia, Tomey, Yachty, and Carlos Sanchez. Who do you think won? I think I did, but
Oh, I thought I won going away.
hashtag swap meet if you want to tell us who you think won. And
If nothing else, let's say that the Pudges are even.
Yeah.
And you're even with Mauer and Pedroia, and you're even with Big Frank and Big Jim.
You're even there?
I mean, yeah, look at Yadier and Sherm Lawler. Really?
Oh, it was Sherm's birthday. I got the birthday boy. He was best on his birthday. You think Thome and Frank Thomas are a wash?
Yeah, I wouldn't think that way if I had Big Frank and you had Jim Thome, but now that I have Jim and you have Big Frank, yeah, I think it's absolutely a wash.
I know they're both beloved here.
And by the way, Jim will go into the Hall of Fame to join Big Frank.
I don't know if I like shopping at a place where I don't know what I'm buying, though.
Well, that has its drawbacks, certainly.
And time called by McCann. Pelfrey's 30th pitch tonight. Inside, so 6 in a row out of the zone for Mike Pelfrey. Don Cooper
talking with Nick Capra to his right.
Ricky Renteria part of that conversation as well. Two and 0. There's a strike on the outside third. 2-1. Two and 1 to McCann.
That hit him.
And he's hit. So bases loaded, 1 down for Romine. And we'll see if Don Cooper comes striding out of the Sox dugout.
I think it's going to be Ricky to bring in Petrichka. And here comes Rick, and the point to the pen. Jake Petrichka will come on as Big Pelf has lost command of the strike zone, and he's loaded them up. So as Jake Petrichka walks in, we'll step out and be back after these messages. It is Jake Petrichka, and he's got his hands full because he's got the bases loaded and only 1 out. He's on for the 22nd time. His ERA up over 8. And when he's right, he throws lots of ground balls. The sinker hasn't been quite as good since coming back off the disabled list, but he's hoping to rediscover it as we get a little closer to the month of September and he gets a few more appearances under his belt. And he could very much use a ground ball here.
Well, no matter how this game ends, it's going to be memorable for one Sox couple. Superfan Laura Williams in her 735th consecutive Sox game got married earlier today. in order to not miss the game. Got married at 2 o'clock to husband David Bukowski, and there they are in full Sox regalia and full love for one another as well. How nice. $735 consecutive games.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and what do they do if this is a 1 o'clock game? I mean, I guess.
Well, it's quite obvious that you change the time of the wedding. I mean, that goes without saying.
Or you get married on the field.
Could have done that or in the parking lot.
In play. Top of the third. 0-2 on Romine. Very close. Didn't get the call.
Romine's grounded into 5 double plays, and the oddity is that they've all been from the left side.
In the air, center field should get a run home. Engel parks. Matuk tags and scores. It's 6-3 Tigers.
RBI number 21 for Romine.
That run charged to Pelfrey. 2 base runners are still his as well. And it's Iglesias for the Tigers with 2 out here in the 7th. Over his head to the backstop.
I would say that would be a wild pitch. Let's check out our Menards pitch cast. And it shows up. Well, it shows up the top right corner. Unfortunately, Iglesias was able to get down under that one.
We almost needed the Menards PitchCast expansion pack for that pitch.
That was up there.
1-0. Swing and a miss.
That one had very good movement on it. That's more of the Petrichka fastball that we saw before the latest injury.
1-1. There it is again. 1-2.
Might as well go back there again.
Martinez at third, McCann at second. He went down and Iglesias fought it off. Sox in the 7th will bring up Narvaez, Engel, and Hansen. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Petrichka aces Iglesias inside, and at stretch time the Sox are down 3 runs. At MLBshop.com with limited edition White Sox jerseys and tees featuring player pick nicknames. Wear the gear the players are wearing on field this weekend. Available while supplies last at MLBshop.com. Sox trying to protect this 3-game win streak. Tigers are leading 6-3 here in the 7th tonight. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. Our entire crew on this suddenly rainy Saturday evening in Chicagoland.
Fortunately, the rain no threat at this point to hold up the ball game, as a few folks start to seek shelter.
Stumpf to face Narvaez. You'd imagine this would be his only batter of the inning, as that's a called strike. Nearly 30,000 here tonight.
Well attended tonight, so Star Wars beats out Elvis.
But if they came together, imagine what could happen. Star Wars Elvis night.
And Salpeld still throwing, likely to come in after the lefty-lefty matchup.
It would be like when the Jetsons and the Flintstones met. Star Wars Elvis. And
There it
Elvis is here. Yeah, it's perfect.
It's little Elvis.
Tiny Elvis. Didn't somebody do Little Elvis? Wasn't there like a skit of some kind? Somebody did Little Elvis?
I have no idea. I'm sure that they did skits about lots of things, and possibly they threw in a miniature Elvis.
Good breaking ball. Strike 3. Stumpf punches out Narvaez on a nasty hook.
And that's going to be it. 3-2. You're certainly not looking for that. It turns Narvaez around as Gene Lamont walks to the mound, and as Gene gets to the mound, we'll step out and be back after these messages. To the pen, and there is the Aussie Warwick Sopo on for the 33rd time. He's 3-1 doing pretty well. 3.66 ERA. He inherits the bases clean. There's one out here in the 7th, and he and the Tigers have a 3-run lead.
I was just in Michigan doing the Junior League World Series, the older kids from the Little League World Series, and there was a team from Australia there. The game was being played in Taylor, Michigan, and the Australian team went to the Tiger game in part because Saupold was on the Detroit team. By the way, very important, it was Tiny Elvis that they did on Saturday Night Live. We were talking about.
Not diminutive Elvis?
No, it was Nicolas Cage, actually.
Or mini Elvis?
No. There's a tiny Nicolas Cage sitting on an end table for most of the skit. A ball and 2 strikes on Engel.
You have it there. It's kind of nice. It's on that lighted box that you have there.
Yeah, it's called a computer. It came in a cow print box. It says 2000 on the side of it. Ball and 2 strikes, and there's strike 3. Engel fans against Saupold, and 2 away as we quiz Steve on something other than electronics. In fact, it's his own career. You faced Al Kaline one time at Comiskey Park. What happened?
I have no idea. I'm sure that I did, judging by that.
Tomorrow's question's going to be 1979, April 3rd. What'd you have for lunch?
Wait, I'll say a flyout because I have no recollection of that one at all. Nice to know I faced him though.
August 15th, 1962. What street did you cross at 11:30 in the morning? Yes, no question. Did you ever meet Tiny Elvis?
Well, now what I can do is increase the amount of Hall of Famers that I've faced, knowing that I faced Al Kaline.
Oh, you even forgot you faced him.
Oh, I have no idea. None.
Two balls and no strikes. We need the conversation rally unicorn. Here's the answer to our question of you. You said flyout. Oh, correct.
You see?
You got it.
I told you. You can't slip that one by me. Even with the messenger of miniature Elvis. It was miniature Elvis, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Yeah, it was. Smallish. 2 balls and a strike on Hansen.
He's going to have to wait for the sinker. At least that's what McCann called, and he calls for another one.
2-1. And that's up high. 3 balls and a strike. Tigers have had trouble, despite 3 straight strikeouts right now, have had trouble putting batters away. They're 3rd last in Major League Baseball in pitcher strikeouts this year. Up high, ball 4. It's a 2-out walk for Hansen, giving Saladino a shot to then bring Abreu up as the tying run. That's still alive. If Saladino can get on, it would happen. Sox trying to storm the scoreboard here in the 7th, if you will. Tyler 0 for 3. A pop out, a fly out, a ground out. And ball 1. The Sox will take all of this erratic behavior and run with it.
Love nothing more than Abreu to come to bat this inning.
One and 0. That's in for a strike on the corner. Tomorrow, 1:10 start time. Lucas Giolito on the mound for his 2nd White Sox start.
I'm going to be anxious to see him go back to the mound because he had pretty good stuff last time out, but he couldn't get his curveball over the plate. And That was the reason for the 3 home runs. The rest of what he did was pretty good, including no walks.
Chopper, tough play. Iglesias on the charge, does it easily. For out number 3, Hansen stranded. Abreu has to lead off the 8th, and it's 6-3 after 7.
Trophy loan now at ecliclending.com. eClick is located in Chicagoland, is rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. eClick Lending. Boom! Your mortgage just happened.
Top of the 8th inning, Tigers have the top of the order. Kinsler, Machado, and Upton. Coming for Detroit, which is 55-72. Tigers have lost 15 of 19 coming in. You don't see a whole lot of teams who are on 8-game win streaks starting brawls.
No, and one of the things that some better managers that I have either played against or played for, we'll wait for the resolution of this.
Sanchez does it, 1 down.
They didn't like their contending team to ever get in a beanball war with a team that was out of it. The reason is, if that team is really struggling and you get in one of those brawls, it's going to psych up the other ball club. And in that game, at least, the Tigers beat the Yankees, and who knows how that's going to play out. But the thing that's always said by most managers, don't wake up that other team that's playing so poorly, and that's what happens when you get in one of those. Sometimes they can't be avoided, but you don't want to go out of your way. And there's some managers don't like it at all. Others say, you know what, you hit one of my guys, I'm going to hit one of your guys. Every manager is different, but most managers for contending teams don't want to get involved in brawls because you might lose somebody that you certainly can need later on.
Either by suspension or
just
injury.
Yeah, it's usually guys on the periphery that get injured in that. Normally not the guys, not the combatants, it's guys coming later.
Yeah, there's no reason to alert the bad team and wake them up. And it's also, if you're a winning team, if you're 20 over, you just have bigger fish to fry. You have other things to worry about than one team hitting maybe a couple of your guys. You say, well, we may not hit one of your guys, but we'll beat you. Saladino across the diamond with a laser for out number 2. First 25,000 people who attend a White Sox game get a game card courtesy of Jewel Osco with a coupon for $10 off a purchase of $100 or more. Jewel Osco, your moment is our moment. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
This is the best movement on the sinker by Jake Petrichka that he's had in quite some time. So this is a real positive to come out of this game, regardless of the resolution of it. He threw very well to Iglesias and threw a couple of ground balls here. So when Jake is right, he's a very valuable member of the bullpen because you bring in relievers many times where they'll need a double play ground ball, and Petrichka can normally do that. That's why it's nice to see the ball starting to sink again.
Upton grounds it foul, 1-1 to Justin Upton, who's hit the ball on the ground 3 times tonight. The fly ball was a home run back in the 3rd. One and two for Upton. So Justin Upton now with 64 extra base hits. He and Abreu are tied at the top of the American League leaderboard in that category. 2 great offensive seasons for the 3 hitters for these teams. As Petrichka nails the inside corner, Upton stands limp at the plate. 1-2-3 for Jake, handing it right back to the offense. For the Tigers, Luis Robert, by the way, with his 12th stolen base in the Dominican League.
And we've got Alex Wilson coming in the ball game. There's 6 outs to get. Wilson on for the 56th time. His ERA at 3.83. A 2-4 record. And as you can see, right-handers have handled him a whole lot better than the left-handers.
Wilson gave up a leadoff double yesterday to Tyler Saladino, then intentionally walked Abreu, and eventually got a strikeout double play combination from Avi and Kevin Smith. Abreu hits one pretty well to third. Machado's on it and one away. Let's check in with Sierra Santos.
Hey guys, one of the cool things about Players Weekend is it gives guys an opportunity for them to express themselves in ways that they normally can't. You'll see right here, Abisail Garcia is wearing a pair of custom cleats. You touched on it yesterday. They had the Venezuelan flag on them. Also, the guys were able to wear whatever t-shirts they wanted during bragging practice. It's kind of disappointment because Yoan Moncada has a really cool pair of custom cleats. It has the yo-yo on it, the socks on it, and even has his custom emblem that he has tattooed behind his ear on the back. He was really bummed out that he didn't get a chance to wear them. Jason, Steve, let's go back up to you.
That's too bad, Sierra. Thank you. That Miller Lite game report on the fashion statement here at Guaranteed Rate Field this weekend. And there's a lot of personality in these guys. Certainly they're called uniforms for a reason because everybody wears the same one, but it is nice to see little flecks of that on the field.
And it was nice that baseball, along with the Players Association, decided in the new contract to be able to allow the players to do this. I think the players probably really enjoy it, and it does give them a chance to change things up a bit in what is called by many teams, especially those out of the race, the dog days of August. This puts a little brightness into it.
Literally.
Yeah, it does.
Tigers look like it's hunting season.
They look like the that are crossing guards.
You ever spend any time as a crossing guard as you see the Venezuelan flag cleats for Avi? You were never a crossing guard, were you?
No, I missed that one.
Hall monitor?
No. But I was one of those guys that helped prepare the baseball fields around the area for Little League and Pony League and Colt League games.
Groundskeeper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. I wasn't quite what Roger is, but then again, we didn't have grass infields. We had all dirt infields.
So what did you do? There's like nothing to do.
Oh yeah, you ride. Oh, there is. You're having to chalk the lines. You're having to smooth the infield. You're having to manicure the grass. Driving
grass,
the trucks. Well, the grass around, yeah, around the baselines, but not. There wasn't any grass in the infield in the Little League parks. Wasn't that good a Little League.
So you chalked the field, you did the whole shebang.
Absolutely.
Huh.
It was fun. I loved the Jeep with the little thing we had behind it that smoothed out the infield.
The dragger?
Yeah, it was, yeah. And so it was a lot of fun.
How about that? Maybe we can get you on Roger's crew one day.
Well,
you said it was a lot of fun. We just heard you say it.
As delightful as that sounds, those guys work awfully hard. The only way I would like to do it is maybe the 5th or 6th time where the tarp is pushed back after rain delays.
We can make that happen.
Well, if we ever get 5 or 6 different uses of the tarp, I might think about it.
Roger's down to 9 toes. He can use all the help he can get.
Yeah, but he didn't go on the disabled list. You got to credit Roger. He's tough.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Garcia, who's scored twice tonight. Once in the 2nd, once in the 6th. Two and 2. Inside, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Matt Davidson next. Matt, who spurred the mini rally in the 6th with a single to bring up Anderson, who doubled home Avi. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 down. Another foul ball. Three balls, 2 strikes. Wilson to Garcia. And he fouls it off again.
So Avi staying alive in what's going to be at the very least a 10-pitch at bat, and Chris Beck up in the pen.
Wilson's been all over the zone. 3 balls, 2 strikes. He missed that time. Ball 4, 1 out walk.
So Avi, you only had 19 total walks this year. Has 2 tonight, as he's been very patient.
So now Matt Davidson, who has 34 extra base hits this year, 16 have come off relief pitchers. So he has made it really hurt for opposing bullpens this year. That you get more at bats against starters for the season. So nearly half coming against relief pitchers is a pretty big number. Oh, 0-1 inside. .26-year-old Matt Davidson back from injury. Takes a ball low. 2-1 from Wilson. Tying run on deck, Tim Anderson. Sox trying to do some harm to this Tiger bullpen, which has been somewhat flammable this year. Davidson, right side, base hit. Avi to second, 2 on, 1 out.
Nice return to the lineup for Matt Davidson. He catches that off the end of the bat. He's 2 for 4 tonight. And more important, as a tying run, he brings up Tim Anderson. So this is a slider away. Just gets enough of the bat on it. And that's going to bring Gene Lamont from the dugout. And Gino having some knee issues, as old catchers usually do. So a call to the pen. And we will step out and be back. The closer, Shane Green, on for the 59th time. He's 3-2, his ERA 2.78. He's always had a great arm. Was just a question of harnessing his control. 60 strikeouts in 55 innings with 28 walks to go with it. He inherits runners at first and second, and Tim Anderson representing the tying run with a chance to do some damage here in the 8th.
Tim last time up poked an RBI double. Yolmer Sanchez to follow, and Yolmer the hero last night. Good slider for strike one.
That's really been the big pitch over the course of Green's career. He's always had a good fastball. He's always had a better slider.
Oh, 0-1. Breaking ball for a strike. He dotted the corner.
Green came out of the Yankee organization, got to the big leagues with the Yankees in 2014, and then was traded to the Tigers. He had 2 major league saves coming into this year.
And he's thrown more sliders this year than ever before. He's up to 27% slider. His highest previous was 19% last year.
He caught a break on the last one because the last slider stayed up, was very hittable, and Tim fouled it off. So after 2 very good ones, he made a mistake and got away with it.
Garcia at second, Davidson at first. Tying run at the plate, Tim Anderson. Oh, 0-2. Tim hits it hard right at third. Machado starts it. Kinsler turns it. And a ball that got whacked in a hot corner, handled by Machado, ends the inning. We'll play the 9th. Still in a 3-run game.
Miller Time brought to you by Miller Lite. Here's our Miller moments, and they came in the 3rd inning. Justin Upton takes Carlos Rodon out of the ballpark, opposite field, a 2-run homer. And then Miggy comes up and he hits a solo home run. It was a 28th for Upton, just the 14th for Cabrera. Avi just missed it. Back-to-back home runs are Miller moments. And Chris Beck comes in the ballgame on for the 47th time. He's 2-1. His ERA knocking at the door of 6.
Cabrera, Matuk, and Martinez coming up for the Tigers. Well, no matter how this game ends, it will be better than the series that ended here 10 years ago today.
Sox lost a 4-game series to the Red Sox 46-7 ending today.
But that's deceiving because Sox are hitting in tough luck.
Tough luck, yeah. 11-3, 10-1, 14-2, 11-1.
Well, maybe not that tough of luck. But
Oof. Oof. 2-0 from Beck, who's not a big shrimp fan. That's just his nickname, Bubba. That's what everybody calls him at home. So that's why he's got that on the Players Weekend jersey.
no Bubba Gump.
2-0 from this Bubba, and he's high 3-0. Cabrera's been on 4 times tonight. A walk, a homer, 2 singles, and a 3-0 swing on a ground ball to short. Anderson flares it over, and 1 down. Earlier today, the Sox ace program, Amateur City Elite, played against a representative team from Colombia at the Kroc Center's White Sox field. The ace team was victorious 5-1. We saw earlier in the week Yolmer Sanchez and a couple others doing a clinic for some youngsters from Colombia, and that team played the ace program today.
Look at that, a random picture, and yet they line up an ace member, a Colombian member, an ace member. Really well done.
It wasn't even organized that way, is what you're saying. Thank you for the backstory on that picture.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's the least I could do.
Do you have the rally unicorn that we have in the booth ready?
Ready for what?
Well, we've put out an APB for the young lady who was the rally unicorn the other night, but we've decided to get our own little rally unicorn. Mikey Montook in the air, left center field. Adam Engel slowing to make the catch for out number 2. Our unicorn is ready for rally purposes here in the booth.
Poised and ready.
Yeah.
Big 9th inning.
And you know how we know it was ready? It's been sleeping for the last couple of innings.
To get psyched up for that.
To get ready, to get the energy flowing through the unicorn veins. Two down for Victor Martinez. Sox haven't lost a game since the rally unicorn appeared in the stands.
A lot of pressure on the corn for the bottom of the 9th.
We're going to see if this is a fitting proxy for the rally unicorn. We'll learn tonight. You're a big fan of unicorns.
I am.
He's not even kidding.
No, I mean I've had one for many years now, actually since the mid 80s.
Yeah.
Always have one in wherever it is I live. I think they're very lucky. In fact, I bought one for my mother and called it lucky, as a matter of fact. And then when she did pass away, I got it back again, and still wherever I go I take it with me. Yeah, it's kind of strange. It's been very lucky. So,
but it stayed with her for a number of months.
Yes, it did. Yeah, it did.
Ball and a strike. Ground ball to second. Sanchez throws out Martinez, and the Sox will try to build a comeback in the 9th. Yolmer first, Narvaez and Engel after that.
WS, and we'll take you back to the second inning. Yolmer takes it way back, leading off the scoring. Exit velocity 104.3, launch angle 38.4, so it was up there. And at the time, it was 2-0. It's 6-3 Tigers heading into the bottom of the ninth inning. Shane Green, who got the double play ground ball, still in the game, trying to nail it down for a save. Save would be his 5th.
Yolmer Sanchez, Omar Narvaez, Adam Engel scheduled to bat here in the ninth. Sox need a couple of base runners here. Shane Green to Sanchez, strike one. Ball and a strike on Sanchez. Sox with 8 walk-off wins this year. That's 8 out of 29 home wins of the walk-off variety. Yolmer bunts it foul.
Boy, good idea. The execution wasn't there, but if he gets this one in play, there's a very good chance that he beats it out. Now Machado will move back from his spot, which was even with the bag. Now he moves back a couple of steps.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Wednesday night when the Sox came back to win, Yolmer was intentionally walked in the 9th inning. Yesterday he had the game winner, 2-2, got him swinging, 1 down. Wednesday night we were talking about that comeback for the Sox. Tim Anderson played hero in the walk-off win. That was walk-off number 7. Avi Garcia came around to score, and major credit for the comeback went to the Rally Unicorn, who was tired at one point and was rejuvenated enough to zap the Twins.
Oh, that's cute. She was very excited.
She's got to come back.
Be good.
Come back, Rally Unicorn. 1 down. Base hit. Even the plea for the Rally Unicorn gets a single. Engel comes up now. All you have to do is show a replay of the Rally Unicorn, and there's a base runner on. Now Rob Brantley is going to pinch hit.
And Narvaez will leave the game.
Leury Garcia pinch running for the Sox after that back injury a couple of days ago. And now Brantley, in his first at bat since coming up from Charlotte.
McCann out to the mound to talk with Green on the scouting report that they have for Brantley.
You may remember him from 14 games with the Sox in 15. He was 4 for 33. And he takes ball 1. Sox now only have Kevin Smith on the bench. 1-0. Downstairs 2-0, and Garcia takes second base.
Although Green has 4 saves this year, he didn't have any major league saves until he got to Detroit. Last year he picked up 2. He's got 4 this year, but he's never been a full-time closer. It is a daunting task if you haven't done it. And this will be the first time in Shane Green's life that he's had an opportunity to do it steadily.
That was outside, and Green got the call. 2-1. Brantley split time between AAA Louisville in the Reds organization and Charlotte. He hit .293, 11 doubles, 10 homers. That was earlier this season before this call-up. Two balls and a strike. That's low and in. 3-1 from Green. Rob Brantley, who made his major league debut just about 5 years ago with the Marlins, on 3-1. Swings away and lifts it foul. 3-2.
Got his fastball down the middle, but could only foul it off.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Garcia at second. That was going to be high. He fouls it away.
That was a slider, and he wasn't sure about the depth. He could see the spin, not knowing what it was going to do. It stayed up and out of the zone, but too close to take. And Brantley stayed alive.
Garcia pinch running at second base. 3-2. On the ground foul of third. Good at bat for Brantley in his first game with the Sox in a couple of years. Alan Hansen next.
He's going to have at the very least an 8-pitch at bat.
Three and 2. He took strike 3. That's a good pitch from Shane Green.
This has the top part of the zone. It is a strike. You see 8 appear in the upper corner. And Rob is rung up.
That's a nasty pitch.
It's one of those things where it doesn't look all that hittable, but too close to take in this situation. And now Green and out away. So we'll take a look at the upcoming schedule. Detroit will end the series and the homestand tomorrow. Then after the off day on Monday, it's off to Minnesota for 3 before returning home to face the Rays over next weekend.
Two out. Hansen the batter. Strike 1 from Green. Sox will have something to say about that American League wildcard race, certainly, with the upcoming schedule. Tampa, Minnesota, Kansas City, the Angels still remaining. Those last two, Kansas City and the Angels, are the last homestand of the year. 0-1. On the ground, Green off the mound, mishandles it. The rally's still alive. Saladino will bat.
Looks like such an easy thing to do. It turns out it's not all that easy. This is game over until he cannot make the catch. And so missing that keeps the game alive, brings the tying run to the plate, and Tigers lost the World Series because their pitchers could not field. Don't know the resolution of this, but that could prove very costly.
Tying run is up very suddenly, and now we'll see how Green reacts to the fraying of this 6-3 stronghold. Saladino does not have a homer yet this year. Good pitch to hit.
We got a slider right down the middle. That was up, and Tyler could not square it up. This just stays right there. I'm talking about center cut, high slider.
No balls and a strike. Outside 1-1. Jose Abreu is next, and if he comes up, he's going to be the winning run. You have to imagine Saladino is going to get something good to hit in this at bat.
He's already gotten something good, but hopefully you get Green worried about the error he just made.
96 and low, 2 balls and a strike. Garcia at third, Hansen at first. The door creaks open with the error. 2-1. In there, 2-2. Boy, there's a lot of movement from Shane Green.
Put it right there. It was a good pitch.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Two on, 2 out. Saladino takes strike 3 and the ball game's over. Green closes down this Saturday for the Tigers.
So despite the error, Green able to nail down his 5th save. And the Tigers, on the strength of back-to-back home runs in the 3rd inning, come away with a win. And unfortunately, the boys who have rallied quite a bit could not come back in tonight's game.
Game effort late.